Nigeria lacks a single entertainment policy, and this means the industry relies heavily on patchwork of existing laws, which experts say can create gaps in regulation. But how knowledgeable are the industry players and actors about these existing laws and the importance of adhering to them? And when contractual agreements are breached, who do the aggrieved turn to? And also, who regulates the noise pollution and safety issues coming from the industry? This will be our focus this week on The Policy with Leah. You're welcome. And as always, we begin the business of the day from the trends table.
President Bola Tinubu has welcomed Petrobras's imminent return to Nigeria 5 years after Brazil's state-owned oil company halted its joint venture operations. At a joint press conference in Brasilia during his state visit to Brazil, President Tinubu said Petrobras' return would reignite economic cooperation in the energy sector between the two countries. During the state visit, Nigeria and Brazil signed 5 memoranda of understanding MOUs to strengthen trade, diplomacy, science, innovation, and finance cooperation. The Central Bank of Nigeria has directed all participants in the country's payment ecosystem to complete migration to the ISO 222 messaging standard and implement mandatory geotagging of payment terminals by October 31, 2025. The apex regulator in a circular reminded deposit money banks, microfinance banks, mobile money operators, switching and processing companies, payment terminal service providers, payment solution service providers, super agents, and other licensed operators that ISO 222 is now the global benchmark for payments messaging. The circular signed by the Director of the Payment System Supervision Department of the CBN, Dr. Rakia Yusuf, stated that the move aligns with SWIFT's global migration timeline and is intended to standardize quality data across Nigeria's financial system. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has kicked against the reintroduction of the 4% fee on board FOB charged by the Nigeria Customs Service, which took effect on August 4. Mr. Auchi Poly, MAN's Director General, said the move contradicts the government's widely publicized suspension of the charge. He said manufacturers were concerned it would significantly increase the cost of importing raw materials, machinery, and spare parts that are not available locally. Auchi Poly explained that the sudden reintroduction of the 4% FOB charge led MAN to conduct a rapid technical assessment to confirm the implications for the sector, and the results showed unsettling issues that could severely impact manufacturing. The National Pension Commission (PENCOM) is considering a review of the limit of funds that pension fund administrators (APFAs) can invest in alternative assets. PENCOM spokesperson Ibrahim Boy, who confirmed this development, disclosed that the proposed review is expected to come on stream by the end of the third quarter. Meanwhile, the Commission said it was recovered 4.57 billion naira for defaulting employers between the first quarter of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025. Japan Credit Rating Agency Limited JCR has affirmed African Export-Import Bank's Afreximbank a negative issuer credit rating with a stable outlook. Afreximbank, in a statement, said the rating reflects JCR's assessment of its strong strategic positioning, robust risk management framework, consistent profitability, prudent liquidity policies, and resilient capital base. The rating agency stated that it expects Afreximbank's rating to remain stable over the next 12 to 18 months despite external macroeconomic challenges and potential pressures in its operating environment. Reacting to the announcement, Mr. Dennis Denia, Afreximbank's Senior Executive Vice President, said the affirmation reinforces the bank's credibility in global markets and highlights its systemic importance to Africa.
Next is our policy conversation on entertainment, and of course, that will be from the eyes of a foreign-based Nigerian DJ. Nigeria does not have a single comprehensive entertainment policy or overarching law dedicated to the entertainment industry, but rather a collection of various laws and regulations that govern different aspects of entertainment, such as the Copyright Act, which protects creative works, and specific regulations for areas like film, exhibition, and broadcasting. The legal framework is built on a combination of intellectual property law, contract law, and employment law, and other relevant legislation to manage the industry. Now, is this global practice? Joining me for this conversation is London-based Nigerian DJ Preston Toghanro, and of course, I don't know if he's jackpot dying. Is that so?
Thank you so much, Leah, for this opportunity to be on your program. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Well, I have jackpot a long time ago, before it became a syndrome. So if you put it that way, we're looking at close to 30 years. Well, that was during the Andrew Don't Checkout. I don't know if you remember that. That was a long time ago. Anyway, back to your question. I think the short answer to your question is a no. I don't think the United Kingdom has any, policy that guides, the entertainment industry, just one single document. However, what they have different bodies, like the councils, the local councils. They are in charge of things like noise pollution, events, planning, and things like that, So health and safety, risks management and stuff like that, So there are different bodies that regulate different aspects, but to have just one single policy that guides, let's say the creative industry, I would say no, So it's a very, very interesting question, and it's something that personally I would like to see if it was possible to have just one single policy that would cover everything. It would have been awesome. But however, there isn't. So what we find as DJs is it's kind of fine-tuned to what the venue requires. For example, we have what you call the public liability insurance. And that most venues nowadays in the UK would require that. Not all venues, but a lot of venues are beginning to ask for it, so that at least you're covered in the event of something happening to your guests and stuff like that. So yeah, and yes, it could be up to the tune of £10 million. So it's a lot, Then you also have what you call the portable appliance testing certificates. So they want to be sure that all of your documentations are correct with regards to your equipment. So these equipment are supposed to be tested, well, depending on what you have and depending on the rules that the local authority would actually give. It could be 6 monthly, it could be annually, it could even be, every 2 years, every 3 years, depending, but you have to do those tests and have the certificate to ensure that your equipment are all in good order. So whether that obtains in Nigeria,
I don't think so.
You may have to tell me.
I don't think I've heard of that. I don't think so. And typically, Nigerian parent reacts, DJ now work. We get to hear that for a lot of creatives, of course. And so I'm wondering, how did you do the swap? Because your background says you were once in NDIC, and everybody, I want to work in NDIC, but then we have someone who left that and chose music.
Yes.
How did you do the swap, and what did the family? How did they take it?
Okay, now it wasn't by choice. Let's put it that way. In the mid 90s, my brother and I, we had an album out whilst working in NDIC at that time. But shortly after, he left for the United Kingdom. So that left just me, and I think he left in 93. The album was released in 92. He left in 93 the following year. So it was almost like a part of me was missing. So I was in the job. It was a really lovely job. But because of how close my brother and I, were, there was this need for me to, try to find a way to join him at some point. So in 95, I joined him in the United Kingdom. But it was all with a view to, continuing the music, thing and all that. But yeah, it was a rude awakening for us, yes, because the cultural shock and all that, had begun to set in, and we knew straight away that, no, this was going to be an uphill struggle. So I decided when I joined him, he was settling slowly, but then I was still kind of new. So I thought there should be enough time for me to put my feet on the ground, settle, and then I'll decide what I want to do. So of course you have to survive, do whatever is necessary to make sure that you sort yourself out. So yeah, in the end, I think it was roughly about 2003, thereabouts, was when I decided that it was going to be music. So NDIC was, it was the beginning. That was, my brother and I, interestingly, worked in NDIC before we left. Oh. Yes, so he left, he only worked there for a couple of years, and I stayed a little bit longer. Then, yeah. So the issue of whether we left NDIC for DJ work, It wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. I just found myself leaving the country, and I had to, find something to do. And in the end, I don't know if it's DJ work that found me or I found DJ work, but somehow it was a perfect meeting, I don't know if that answers your, your curiosity.
It does actually. And so we find that it's easy for Nigerian artists to sell out venues in other countries than here. They actually struggle to get that. And so I'm wondering, what are the factors at play here?
Very, very good question. I mean, in the last 10, 12 years, or maybe 15, maybe, you would agree with me that Afrobeats especially has taken over the world. Slowly, the whole world is beginning to reckon with Afrobeats, and Nigeria in particular. So it would not surprise me entirely that people are beginning to find, we know what the value of the dollar to the naira is at the moment. So any artist that is worth his salt will definitely be contemplating doing, gigs abroad and stuff like that, so, as opposed to doing it at home. And, it's definitely, I've seen concerts in Nigeria, very, very lively concerts, but how much money are they making? The hall might appear to be full, or maybe, maybe not quite full to capacity, but at least I know the average Nigerian, they're bubbly, they're things like that, So on tape, it looks really nice, but it's all down to this. So have the artists actually made reasonable money to justify paying their manager, paying their, the instrumentalist and everyone on that tour, the road show, So that's the big question. So for the big acts who actually have the opportunity of taking the tours abroad, I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. So for me, that is, even as a DJ, I mean, I do occasionally get the opportunity to go abroad and get, it's better business for us. You get your hotel bill sorted, you get, better money and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, our artists are definitely, they've upped their games to the extent where the international crowd actually want them. So I think it's a welcome development, if you ask me.
Okay. Do you typically go to a school or an institute to become a professional DJ?
Well, personally, I didn't go to a school. And I know that there are courses that can actually help you develop your craft, your skill, Online, there are online tutorials. As much, interestingly, I only recently just started an academy. I didn't study, it wasn't by choice. one of my clients, happened to be so impressed, with my performance, and the son, who's just going into university, thought, uncle's done a good job. Can you speak to him and see if I can shadow, So that sort of brought the idea of doing like an academy, So, well, I've just only recently started with him as the first client, So the short answer is no, you don't really need to. It's just your interest in music is where it starts from. You need a laptop. In this day and age, all you need now is a laptop, your controller, and some speakers. So how far you want to take that is up to you, but that's the basic. If there are DJs who they store their equipment in the warehouse. So that's the level they want to be at. They're probably catering for things like live concerts, big, huge concerts, like the O2 Arena and places like that, So you really don't need, you can be a DJ here. You can be, all you need is your laptop, your headphones, and your controller. And then, the entertainment begins.
You've, at least from the start of this conversation to now, been able to pick one or two things. But then, are there remarkable differences being a DJ in Nigeria and being a DJ, let's say, in the UK, where you're based?
Okay. I think in the UK where I live, there is... It's only down to this thing, again, Otherwise, in terms of the actual display of, skills and performance, I don't see any real difference, Only recently I saw a DJ here in Abuja, and he did an excellent job, but I don't know how much he will get paid. That's the thing. So, but again, being a DJ, professional DJ in the United Kingdom comes with its own baggages. There are expenses that we need to pay. There's the public liability insurance, like I said earlier. There's the part testing certificates, and your equipment could develop a fault at any time, or something could happen. So in some cases you'll have to have backups for most things, and that increases your expenditure. So I think it's down again to just the difference in currency. Otherwise, in terms of performance, we have world-class DJs in Nigeria, and I must give it to them, So I really don't see much difference, just currency. So any DJ who's planning to come abroad, well, it's a win-win because you make more money. In terms of, by the time you exchange, the pound to the, to the naira, you're getting more. But then if you start living there, that it's a totally different ballgame, because you start paying your rent, or paying your mortgage, or paying your council tax, or whatever bills that those of us who live there pay. So if they are able to just come do a tour and then disappear again, then it's fine.
You've been out for a while, and I would love to get your assessment of the entertainment industry here, especially as regards music. Do you see Nigeria as a place where people will actually pay their money from all over the world to come and watch a Nigerian performance, the way you see people move to other jurisdictions?
I think, are you limiting that to DJing or just artists?
DJing, and of course an artist will be unable to even perform without a DJ, and that's one fact that a lot of people don't even understand.
That is very correct. Now, back to your question. I think, with the recent Dirty December thing, we already can see that there is a very bright light on the horizon for that scope. You see, I personally think the government can do a little bit more in terms of trying to empower the DJs and the artists. Once they're empowered to a certain level where they can compete on a global stage, which is what we're experiencing with the Afrobeats people now. The quality of their production. I mean, I never used to watch Nollywood, for example, purely because of the quality, say like 15, 20 years ago. I mean, my wife loved a lot of that, but I never used to. And not because I didn't like the storylines, but because of the quality. But now, it's a totally different game. I watch a lot of Nollywood, and I listen to a lot of Afrobeats. because the quality is of international standard. See people winning, our guys are winning Grammy Awards. And you know what that means. It means that they are par, or even, have surpassed expectations, on the global stage. So for me, it's a good thing. Definitely, it's the way to go.
Okay, so are we expecting some performances from you December?
Well, if I get paid well enough, why not? That's usually the issue. Because if you get offered something here in Nigeria, I mean, I've been here a few times to play from England, private parties, obviously, not concerts or anything like that, But, when you convert what you get paid here into pounds, you just ask yourself, okay, is it really worth it, or you're just doing this, just as a promo thing, and that sort of stuff. So that's the thing. But I think that in due course we would have promoters out there who are actually bringing artists from top DJs from the UK, from the US, from across Europe into Nigeria to do like a concert type thing. So at that point, then it will definitely be worth it. So I look forward to the next 30 December and see what it holds, because it's just evolving. So who knows? I might be here in December. Who knows? If the price is right, obviously.
Okay, the price is right.
It's got to be right.
Yes, I must sincerely thank you for making time for this conversation and for sharing your thoughts with me.
Thank you very much, Leah. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, and in commemoration of the second anniversary of the policy with Leah, just around the corner is the inaugural Saban Media Services Colloquium, and of course, be part of it. We move on to our education segment, Simplify These, and from there we take you to the commodities markets. And that's all we have for you this week on the Policy with Leah. Don't forget that you can get details of markets and more on our sister website. It is www.marketnigeriatv.com. Also, don't forget that this episode and every other one is available on YouTube on our channel. It is at Saban Media Services. The Policy with Leah is also available on Kaftan TV, Global TV Nigeria, and of course, KSMC News. Be safe out there, and God bless Nigeria.